I was lip syncing our theme song there. Welcome to Modern Art Blitz. My name is Matt Gleason. I'm your host for an hour of blitzing the best in contemporary art in Los Angeles and abroad. And speaking of abroad,
You really had to go there, Matt. You really
my
had
co-host is the lovely Lisa Derrick. Lisa, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I love that we color coordinated for Halloween.
Yes.
That is just stunning.
Black and orange.
I know. And we didn't even talk beforehand.
Nope.
Nope.
The jack-o'-lantern was just in the air.
That's right. It's the great
I wanted to wear
pumpkin.
this shirt is actually conceptual artwork. It's a famous artwork by Yves Klein, but it's just they've edited out everything except the actual subject of the guy jumping off the ledge. And Yves Klein had copyrighted a blue, so this orange is actually the polar opposite.
I was going to say
of the Yves Klein blue. So it's a bit of a commentary. I know there was one or two people who got it like that.
I did.
And I'm happy for you. I don't believe you.
No,
but I'm happy for you.
I didn't want to interrupt you and go, but wasn't Yves Klein known for his blue?
And next to us, on our left, is the lovely intern Aliza. Say hi, Aliza. Do you have a microphone? Nope, no microphone.
You want to yell, and maybe it'll get picked up on mine?
Aliza is in the Skechers seat. Aliza is in the Skechers seat, and she will be sketching our guests while we interview them. Our first guest tonight is the director of the Vincent Price Art Museum, the preeminent art institution in East Los Angeles, California. Let's hear it, all 6 of you in the audience. Well, there's 6 hands, that's 3 people, for Pilar Tompkins Rivas.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi,
So
thank you.
excited.
I'm excited to be here.
Great. So you are the director. Is that like Spielberg as a director? What's the difference between director and producer? Is there such a thing as a producer in a museum?
Well, actually when I had friends that are in Hollywood, I explained to them quite a bit that a curator is very much like a producer. I mean, there's something really paralleled.
Put on a whole show.
Exactly,
but as director of the Vincent Price Art Museum, you're curating shows.
Yes, I mean, a more appropriate title would be executive director and chief curator.
And chief curator.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So now the Vincent Price Art Museum is located on the campus of East LA College.
Correct.
And it was founded by Vincent Price?
It was.
Himself, the actor.
Yes, the actor.
How did Vincent Price, because and it's great that we're filming this October 30th, 2016, the day before Halloween, and what better thing to do than to talk about Vincent Price, the master of horror.
Yes.
But his art collection was not a horror.
Right, and we have a lot of his collection.
You have a lot of his
there at
collection
the
there.
museum.
What's the most valuable piece in the collection? Do you have these things appraised and assessed?
We do, and I recently found out that we have objects from Africa that are some of our most expensive pieces.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so what's called primitive art, only because it's the perception of Western culture that it's
Yes.
primitive, so there's actually like are they masks, statuary?
They're figures. We have wood figures, but we also have an Egyptian bust.
Wow.
As well.
Okay.
So this collection is very diverse. It's very global.
Wow.
We have a really wonderful pre-Columbian collection.
Wow.
As well.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I knew he had some minor impressionists, and he had a lot of modern art.
Yes.
A lot of local LA modernists.
Right.
And stuff like
Yeah,
that. But I
yeah.
had no idea that it was that vast.
Right. Well, he traveled all around the world,
Wow.
and so he collected as he went. And so we have things from, we have Japanese woodblock prints and Mexican printmaking from the early 20th century. Some really varied things in the collection.
Okay, so now Vincent Price started this museum, and was it always on the campus of East LA College?
Yes, it was.
So
yeah.
now what was his affinity to East LA College?
Well, he studied art history. So he actually went to Yale and studied art history.
Ooh.
And then when he went to do his graduate work, he went to London and studied there, and then got involved in the stage. And that led to his acting career. But art was his first passion. Wow. So when he was invited to come to East LA College campus, pretty soon after the college was founded in the 1940s, he saw that there was a real lack of arts institutions in that side of the county, and decided to donate artworks to the college that would then become a teaching collection. So the first teaching collection on a community college campus.
Wow, wow, wow. So how long have you been there now?
5 months. All of
my
5
God.
months.
Oh my
You know all this. You got all the history down. You've been there 5 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Lisa, did you ever see a Vincent Price movie? Do you have a favorite Vincent Price movie?
I have seen so many Vincent Price movies. I love Vincent Price. I would have to say there's Leave Her to Heaven, there's Laura, there's of course his Edgar Allan Poe series. And I went to Cotillion with Vincent Price's daughter, and he was a Gemini like me, and I got to meet him on several occasions, and he was so charming and delightful.
You actually met Vincent Price?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is because he had a renaissance in interest when he did the voiceover for Thriller.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes. Mhm.
Is there any Michael Jackson memorabilia in the collection?
No, nothing
No?
like that.
Nothing? Maybe
No.
it's
No,
safer.
no.
Okay, so now I remember him from the commercials for the Shrunken Head toy. Did he throw in a few of those?
I haven't seen
You haven't
any.
seen any
Yeah,
Shrunken
but we
Head
actually
toys?
have 9,000 works in the collection.
Oh my God.
It's huge. So I've only been there 5 months, so I'm making my
Oh, yeah,
way
yeah,
through
okay,
it.
okay.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean, I was happy to uncover objects from like Teotihuacan, and I mean, there's a lot to discover. So I'm trying to figure out, what the whole collection encompasses.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
Vincent Price did an infomercial for the Sears Fine Art Collection. It was a series of prints that were sold by Sears, and it was one of the first infomercials to come out.
Wow.
But what thrills, I have to say, 5 months into your tenure, and you have this amazing show that everyone is talking about.
What are we looking at back here? It looks like some, is that Osco?
Yes, on the right. That is an image of Osco, and on the left it's Cesaretti. I don't know if you know that photographer.
No, tell us about him.
Cesaretti is an Italian who lives in Los Angeles, and he, has this really, really great photography from the early 70s and working in East LA and within the Latino and Chicano community. These are images from a current exhibition called Tastemakers and Earthshakers, Notes from Los Angeles Youth Culture, 1943 to 2016.
Wow.
That's the title of the show. Pretty
Wow.
long.
Did you put this together?
I did. Since I started at the museum, I came in and curated the exhibition, and it just opened a couple of weeks ago.
Is it pretty photography centric?
There is a lot of photography, but there's also installation, painting. I include a lot of other things from material culture. So I've got videos, and I've got ephemera as well as historical documents.
So I'm looking there. I see Gronk in there. He's looking pretty young, and that's
Yeah.
Patsy Valdez too, right?
Right.
They were young ones.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we were all young once, but some of us had the brilliance to not photograph it. So so what else is coming up at the museum?
Well, this exhibition is going to run through February, and we have an exhibition by Peter Wu that's going to open mid-November. And we are actually going to do a screening of Vincent Price's The Fly the day before. You mentioned his daughter, and Victoria Price is on our board of directors.
Wonderful.
So she's going to be in town. She's going to introduce the film.
You went to Cotillion with her. You
I
could
know.
show up and compare posture. Okay,
Yeah.
so what? Oh, now that's a famous John Valadez.
Yes,
the butterfly, right?
Yes, La Butterfly.
Yeah, and you can't see it, but she has a tattoo of the butterfly on her chest. Right?
Yeah, it's
Or is it
it's a little medallion.
It's a medallion.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a tattoo. Okay.
Well-
Now John Valadez.
No,
I mean,
you're right. I think it's a tattoo.
do you're curating this? I mean, when you go about curating as a museum, that kind of gives you the chance to like call the big names, right? You're not like sometimes a gallery. You're like, oh, I'm doing a show about this, but how could I get that big name? But a museum. Hi, we're a museum. I mean, it gives you a little swagger as a curator.
Yeah, it does, but you definitely get nervous that you're not going to get the loans that you request. So it's always a real delight when the loan form comes back and you're like, yes, we got it. Because oftentimes you're really hinging, a part of the exhibition on having that piece in order to make an argument. So if you don't get it, then it's...
And is that from the LA County's permanent collection?
It is, and so I was working at LACMA before I came to the Vincent Price
so you got some
Museum.
connections. That helps.
So I saw that the piece came into
Maybe that's why
the
you got hired,
collection.
right?
Probably.
She's got connections. We have to hire her.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, so I knew that piece had recently been bequeathed to the museum. So luckily, 5 months is a very short turnaround for doing a loan, an institutional loan. Usually you have to request about a year in advance.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, so, and then it just takes time. No, it just takes time.
Now, can you ever just say, hey, can we get a loan? I actually want to hang this out at my house. No, that's not gonna fly.
I don't think so.
That's not allowed? Okay, I'm just for future reference, in case I start a museum, I just thought, could decorate the house. Okay, just checking. And so what are we looking at here?
This is another installation shot from the exhibition. And there's a text piece in the back by Juan Capistran that is a lyric from an NWA song.
Oh, wow.
And then on the left, it's a painting by Salomon Huerta that he did right after the 1992 riots.
Ah, okay.
And
excuse me.
Yes.
Civil unrest.
Civil unrest or uprising.
But if you had said uprising or civil unrest, I would have said, excuse me, riots. So don't worry. Sorry,
I know,
sorry.
it depends on who you're talking to.
I just like to keep language alive, okay?
And that piece, I don't think it's been, I think he showed it twice. He told me he showed it twice before, but it's been in his sister's kitchen for more than 20 years.
Wow.
I got a Salomon story for you.
Yeah.
I got years ago, I said to him, hey, there's a painting of yours I really like. And he said, oh, thanks. What painting is that? And he did a mural of the Beatles when he was in high school at his high school.
No
and it's
way,
still
really?
up there. And he freaked out that I was going to publish a photo of it. It's not. He's gotten the draftsmanship's a little better there. It's hard to tell George from Paul in this one.
Oh my goodness.
So how did you just? Were you looking on Craigslist and it said museum director needed? How do you get a job as a museum director?
It was my goal for a long time, actually. I was really interested I love to curate. I really, really love curating, which is what I had been doing for the past 10 years. But I also had my sights on doing something bigger. I think when you're running an institution, you have the opportunity to affect change in all kinds of ways. Mm-hmm. So I was very interested in that kind of a role. And then I live right behind this museum. So when I was making my commute every day for the years that I worked at LACMA, I would drive by the Vincent Price Art Museum and I said, if that job ever came open, I would like to apply. I think I should throw my hat in the ring and
just sake of the commute.
I gained about 13 hours a week.
Wow.
But now I spend it at the museum, so.
That's great.
So they benefit too by having somebody who lives close.
Yeah, it's very convenient to be so close.
So now, just because, based on the Vincent Price connection, there was no, when you were interviewing for the job, they didn't break out a Ouija board and you had to talk to Vincent Price? No. There was none of that went on?
I should have done that. I should have done that.
Tips or,
right.
Don't hang that painting over there.
Now,
that would have been good.
Did you go to school specifically for curation or for art history or anything in particular that directed you this way or that enhanced your higher ability?
Mm-hmm. I get asked this question a lot, and I always tell other people, if there are any young people that are watching, don't do what I did. Please just go study art history, try to get a PhD. I had a very circuitous path. I started as an artist. So I've been studying, art since I was very young and art history concurrently. So when I was an undergrad, I did studio art and Latin American art history. Mm-hmm. And then I really wanted to make it, as an artist. I had the dream of being the next great Chicana muralist. And so that, led me to somehow come to Los Angeles, and then I started working, and I've worked in a lot of different kinds of arts institutions. So I did commercial galleries for about 5 years, and then I started.
Oh, really?
I did.
Where'd you work?
My first gallery experience was at Patricia IV in Santa Monica.
Oh, wow, at Bergamot Station, the late, great Patty IV.
I learned a lot from her, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a real introduction to LA's art history. She was a living legend. So.
Oh, yeah. She knew everyone. She had worked with everyone.
Yeah. And later on, I started curating, and around 2005, 2006. That's when I started doing projects. And so one thing kind of led to another. I was the curator at the Claremont Museum of Art. And then when the Getty had their first Pacific Standard Time, I was hired by both UCLA and the City of LA to do exhibitions. And I actually showed that Vincent Price clip that you were talking about of him selling teaching people how to sell modern art.
Wow.
So that was, I mean,
What an artwork in itself.
it is an artwork in and of itself.
So with the whole Pacific Standard Time, the next Pacific Standard Time is going to be specifically focused on Latin America.
And Latino art, in dialogue with LA.
Okay, so are you doing any specific exhibits for that?
Yeah.
This is 2017, September 2017.
Right.
What are you doing?
Well,
are you doing anything?
Like the last PST where I went overboard with my involvement, I curated 4 shows for the last PST. I'm working on 3 exhibitions and 4 books for this PST. So all the book deadlines are right now. So it's really it's really challenging. But
I was busy, man. I feel like a slacker next to you. Wow.
Yeah. So actually these we've been working on the shows for a very long time. So I started working on the shows before I worked at LACMA, and then now I don't work at LACMA anymore. And I've got 2 exhibitions that will open at LACMA next year.
Wow.
2 at LACMA, and then we have an exhibition on Laura Aguilar's photography at the Vincent Price Art Museum.
Are you curating that one?
Sybil Venegas is the curator for that
great.
exhibition.
Okay,
but we're working closely together.
Yeah. Oh, Laura's great. Yeah, she just had a big feature in the LA Weekly.
That's right. Yeah, kind of a teaser for our exhibition.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to next September. It's going to be
oh yeah.
pretty
Well,
busy.
I'm really looking forward to 2018 when this is all over and I can take a vacation.
Because now, I proposed a show to them. There's a way for galleries to kind of get listed with everything if you do a sympathetic show. So put a good word in for me.
All right.
Yeah. So now in addition to being you were a muralist. You're not working on your art. You don't have an art practice.
No, I don't.
I hate that word practice.
No,
but
I gave that up a long time ago.
You gave it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're a native of LA or from Texas?
I'm
right?
from Texas.
Tell us about the transition. You're from Texas.
Yeah.
How'd you end up in LA?
Well, I came to dance salsa in the West Coast Salsa Congress. One
Congress?
weekend.
Wait, did you ever get elected? Congress?
No, they called them congresses. They, I don't know if they still do them or not, but I was a serious salsera. I'm like a salsa addict, you could say.
Wow.
So I came to LA to dance. I know this is not the typical museum director story or curator story.
You know,
I prefer it.
Have you ever interviewed a museum director who danced salsa as a way to get into the institution?
No, but I appreciate that when you have curators on, museum curators, they have fascinating ways to get where they got.
Yeah, I have yet to meet somebody in the institutional world who actually went through just the standard institutional degree program. It's as if those don't work. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're dancing salsa one day, and then did you just dance right into the museum? How did that work?
Oh, that's funny. No, I just, it was a passion, it was a hobby, and so that's actually what brought me to Los Angeles. It wasn't a job, it wasn't school. I came out to do that, and I was here for a couple of weeks.
So there's more salsa dancing in LA than in Dallas?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. The best salsa dancing in the world, I think, is
right here.
Right here.
And
yeah.
do you still salsa dance?
Well, my husband grew up in the disco scene in East LA, and so now we've made this hybrid disco salsa, and so we dance pretty much every day at home.
That's great.
Wow. We love to
How
dance.
romantic.
Saturday night salsa.
Yeah, we
Wow.
gotta do it.
So you married the John Travolta of East LA?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hot.
Mhm.
I think I'm the first person to ever refer to your husband as the John Travolta of anything. Okay,
yeah,
not
so
the Pulp Fiction John Travolta,
right,
though.
exactly. Well, I was in LA then for this, and then I said, I better look up what murals are here. I got connected to Spark, and I started Social Public Art Resource Center in Venice, and I was working on restoring a mural for Judy Baca, and coincidentally, I had been going to graduate school in Italy. So, but I'd come back from Italy, and I all my stuff was in storage still. But my parents, I was staying with my parents, and their house got struck by lightning and burned to the studs.
Wait, in Texas?
In Texas.
That's Texas lightning. LA lightning's a lot more forgiving.
My mother, called to tell me. I said, I'm on the next flight home, and she said, "Don't come home. There's no home to come home to."
Whoa.
So if you have you have a place to stay in LA and you got a gig, you should try to stay out there.
I
So
really think you need.
That's
I
why I'm in
really
LA.
think you need the Ouija board and
This
Vincent
is pretty
Price
much a
now,
God shot
'cause that's
completely.
so,
That's just
Yeah.
Vincent Price, lightning. I don't know. It's
So-
getting kind of Halloween. You definitely brought the you
Yeah.
brought the Halloween to this show. Let me tell you. So what exactly, Pilar? What's your vision for Vincent Price? What does the Vincent Price Museum bring to LA in general and the community that it's in specifically? What does it offer, and what do you want to bring?
Thank you for asking that. I'm so excited to be at this institution at this time and at this stage in my career, because this institution's been around actually for 60 years.
Ooh.
Next year will be its 60th anniversary, but it's been 5 years in the 40,000 square foot building that it occupies today.
New building. Yeah.
So, my first and foremost goal is to realize this full transition from what it was as a college gallery, essentially for 55 years with this amazing collection that nobody really knew about, into a full-fledged museum that occupies a very particular spot in the geography of LA and its art scene. So it's East LA College, which is actually in the city of Monterey Park. So we have Monterey Park annexed the college and that part of this area, because East LA is an unincorporated, part of
Unincorporated
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, yes.
Right. So, so we're in the middle of both, 98% Latino community and one of the biggest Asian majority cities in the United States is Monterey Park. So those immediate communities are public, are immediate public. But I'm interested in talking about dialogues that can bridge us out internationally and globally, because I think we have so much to say. We have this amazing collection it's like a mini encyclopedic museum. So I'm really going to try to do temporary exhibitions that are very, forward-thinking. I want to make the museum very digitally accessible to young people. 35,000 students go to school on the campus.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And so our institution is also, I realize, the first museum experience for so many people that are coming in the door. And we're one of the only museums that I can think of, I can't think of another one that's within walking distance of a housing project.
Wow.
So there's a lot of really interesting,
I
context and relationships around there.
I have yet to sell art to people living in a housing project. I think it can be done, but maybe not as easily as we hope. But we could lower the price point, right?
Maybe.
Is that,
Maybe.
is
People
that-
love art.
Is that the barrier?
I think everyone loves art, no matter where you live. And yes, affordable art makes it possible. Thank you, Vincent Price. But it's very important.
Well, those shrunken heads.
Yeah.
Those shrunken heads on his commercials could have been. That was the art I grew up with.
Everyone loves art, and having the museum where it is, on a campus and walking distance from a housing project is going to open so many people's eyes and minds.
What was the ethnography of East LA College when Vincent Price established the museum there?
The same as it is today, to my understanding.
It was a
which
majority
is
Latino.
It's majority
it was majority
Latino.
Latino, even dating back
Yes.
that far.
Working class
Yeah.
Latinos.
Working class Latino.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, East LA may be in flux, but it's such a vast area. I
Yeah.
can't imagine that it could possibly be gentrified radically like some small pockets of downtown. I look at East LA as like this formidable, inevitably always going to be a Latino center. Does East LA really see itself that way, though?
Wow, does East LA see itself as always being that? I think so. I mean, I think when you're also, talking about the centers of Latino communities in the United States, East LA is one of the most important places that people can conjure in their minds. This is a center of Latino art and culture and life experiences. So I do think it's very much tied to that.
Have you been thrown wittingly or unwittingly into like a kind of a role model role here that maybe you want or don't want? Is there any baggage with this job that you don't like?
I feel really humbled, by any feedback that I get from people saying that I can be a model, for them. I believe I'm I'm the first Latina museum director of this institution. I think I'm the second one in LA County's history.
Wow.
First, second Hispanic Latina woman to run a museum. So I know that that's breaking a certain barrier. And then I'm very interested in mentorship. I'm really interested in cultivating the next generation, and I've mentored a lot of young people, and I think that it's your job. A couple of my mentors when I first moved to LA, they were artists, and they really impressed upon me that it's your job to help other people come along. So that's how I see it. A responsibility.
So many people I've met in the art world, it's been their job to cock block everybody from ever getting to where they are. That's basically so to hear you say that is really wonderful, because man, just the energy out there is like, nope, I got mine, fuck you. So
that's true. I mean, I certainly have experienced that, and I know exactly that kind of mentality.
But being on a campus, the nature of a campus is to be of service to the students. I said that like I believe it. Okay. Well, East LA, and community colleges in general really are still educational institutions. They're not student loan scams with bait and switch, like, ooh, here's a piece of paper, $150,000, right? I mean, you're actually doing the nuts and bolts education there, right?
That's true, yeah, and students take sometimes up to 4 years or longer to get their transferable credits to be able to go to a 4-year university.
And you can transfer to a UC or a Cal State from the community college, right?
They can.
Because I went to Cal State LA, and I transferred from Cerritos College. Do you transfer a lot to Cal State LA, or where do you? Where does ELAC transfer to?
Yeah, I think that's one of the feeder schools.
But you're not an educator per se, right?
No,
you're not holding class or anything.
No.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm learning about this. I'm learning about this the institution's relationship to the college.
It's inevitable.
And then I also previously I've been working with UCLA in collaboration with UCLA for a really long time.
Great.
So that's that kind of museum academic institution partnership is something that I've been doing for a number of years. 8 years.
I think these things are kind of they all just could become the big Death Star, right? Okay, just okay. It's been great. We'll have to have you back, because you're going to have, in the future, you're going to be having more great shows. I anticipate more great stuff from you, and definitely at the Vincent Price Art Museum. So I really, really want to, I appreciate you coming on the show. Good luck in the future, and we'll definitely, I want to make it down to see the show.
Okay, great.
So,
I look forward to it.
Thanks for coming on. And, we gotta show the sketch.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Our guest, let's hand it over to.
I think we got the bangs right.
Pilar
Wow.
Tompkins. Let me get the glare out. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, and the dimples.
Oh my God. All right, that's from
done.
our Sketcher's seat, intern Aliza. Thank you so much again. Thanks, Pilar.
Thank you.
All right. We've got a whole audience today.
I know, it's exciting.
Yes. A little crinkly on the fast food wrappers, but our next guest, moving right along, is part of the shamanic tradition of Los Angeles and the international art world. She's been an exhibiting artist for so long, I can't tell you the date. It would reveal too much. So let's just introduce her as the legendary Linda Jacobson.
Hey, Matt. Hey, hi.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
So let's talk about painting.
Okay.
Why painting? Why are you a painter and not a sculptor?
That's a good question. First of all, I happen to love color, and I also love, in painting you can create worlds and journeys and things that don't exist, that you can take the mind and the imagination to places that aren't actually physically real in this dimension. Whereas to me, sculpture is very tangible, very physical, very visceral, and
You want to push illusionistic space?
Yes, illusionism, imaginary worlds, and even though I am inspired by the natural world, I really kind of connect to the other worlds, the other dimensions in my work.
So we're looking at an illusionistic space you created. Now, this is an older piece.
Yes, I created this piece in the early 90s.
I remember the early 90s.
You do?
Yeah, they were really, it was a wild time.
It was a wild time. I actually was in downtown Los Angeles at that time, which is really an exciting time.
I was in downtown Los
Angeles. You were?
We never ended up with, we
no.
must not have shared the same drug dealers.
Probably not.
So, so what exactly are we looking at here?
Okay, well, this is a series, I called it the Pathways series, and to me it symbolizes a journey through the dreamscape, the physical world, meeting important people in my life, having significant experiences. Also, the metaphysical element where that space on the right-hand side is actually a mirror for what's going on. So it shows that there's this world and there's also a mirror that's happening at the same time, which is our perception, which for each person is a very different experience.
Everyone's got different perception.
Right.
And yet, you know, in the art market especially, we try to find some consistent agreement, and that's how the art market price is raised. You don't care about any of that stuff though, do you?
I don't really. I'm sort of dedicated to my own, bizarre maverick path. And
You're just going to make the art you want to make.
Yeah.
You don't read art form or any of that crap.
Well, it's very interesting. One of my very first boyfriends started Art Forum magazine.
What?
Wow.
Tell us about which first boyfriend was this?
Arthur Secunda with he was the first co-editor with Philip Leiter and John Copeland. So,
wow.
So I was actually in the art world in LA starting in the, well, let's see, I'm not going to say how old I was, but it was in the 70s.
The
and
70s.
I was one of the first art writers in Los Angeles along with my friend Marilyn Nix. We were the first co-editors for Art Week magazine, which was just I
remember Art Week magazine.
Yeah.
When you were there, it was strong, but it ended up being pretty weak art by the end there.
Yeah, it was just happening. It was, the editor, Cecile McCann, just started it in Los Angeles. She was from San Francisco. Yeah,
wow.
So I was in the art world very much, and
Did you just get sick of it?
I couldn't kind of handle, when I was a writer, I felt like I was being surrounded by sharks that wanted to kind of like eat me. That's kind of the experience.
Oh, you mean, so you enjoyed writing about art, but you didn't enjoy the people saying, hey, you should write about my art?
Yeah, it was a little hard for me. And some of those people actually went on to have quite successful careers.
You're not going to drop any names of who the worst sharks were? Come on, little red meat.
Okay, the person that scared me the most was actually Mark Kostabi.
Hi, Mark!
I'm sorry, Mark. Please forgive me. But
we love you. Mark's a Facebook friend of mine. You know that?
I'm in big trouble.
No. Mark's
anyway,
great.
he did go on to be quite successful, and I just felt it just wasn't for me. And actually, from there, I met Lorser Feidelson, who was my mentor, and his wife Helen Lundeberg, who really were my mentors.
You're some people drop names of like somebody that's cool and trendy.
No,
you know,
Helen
like some people say like, "Ooh, I know Lisa Derrick," or "I know Aliza Bejarano," but
Helen Lundeberg.
dropping Helen Lundeberg and Lorser
my
Feidelson.
God.
These are like major
Whoa.
figures.
Well, I would love to drop Lisa Derrick's name.
Ah!
And I think that would be very cool. But
You got good friends.
But Helen Lundeberg, Lorser Feidelson were my buddies, and we used to hang out. We used to have it was just inspirational.
You know, my favorite thing about Lorser Feidelson was when he called the LA City Council idiots. Because they said that his art, which was completely abstract, was communist.
Oh.
And he was like, you guys are just idiots. And he really meant it in the most like sympathetic way. Like he felt bad for the fact, he wasn't like, you guys are idiots, fuck you. It was like, you guys are idiots. Like you need help here. Like, is there like an IQ boost,
Yeah.
So was he still, was he pretty crotchety?
Oh, not at all.
Oh, really?
No, he was very kind, very, very smart, and very witty, kind of like you, very sympathetic to women, actually. Really supported women artists. And
So let me ask you one more Lorser Fettelson question, because I'm just such a art nerd.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Coca-Cola rip him off, and was he a little resentful of that?
We never discussed it.
You never? Oh, wow.
But I looked at the Coca-Cola logo and I thought, they must have ripped
They must have ripped him off.
He never, ever mentioned it.
He never mentioned it? Oh my God, see, because I know so many delusional artists that, like, somebody will use pink on a TV and they'll be like, they must have seen my painting with pink in it. But here's Lorser Fettelson did that perfect
he didn't really
geometric
care.
swoop that is the but I'm one to talk about ripping off Coca-Cola. I ripped off Coca-Cola on behalf of Lorser Fettelson for my gallery logo, just so you know. So
really?
Tell me about we're looking at a landscape here, but it's not a landscape that one would recognize or enter into the real world. Are you trying to go somewhere outside of the real world with this?
Yes. A lot of my imagery comes from other places besides Los Angeles. I would love to say that I'm inspired by LA, but I seem to be more inspired by other places. So I do a lot of traveling, and this painting was from my Big Sur series. I spent a lot of time in Big Sur in the early 90s, mid-90s. Actually, I had a little cabin up there that a friend gave me that I could go at any time. So I would go around sketching in different locations, but I would do a sketch, I wouldn't do a photograph, and then I would take that sketch into the studio and kind of make my own reality out of it. So, and using the elements that I learned that I loved, composition, color, up the color, saturated the color, and created a flow, a harmony, and trying to get the essence of the place.
Now, in addition to painting, do you consider yourself to be a shaman? Shaman?
Shaman.
Yeah,
Shaman?
I mean, I do. I think it's for other people to say that, but I think in the sense that I have had a lot of training. I worked with a shaman for 10 years, Don Miguel Ruiz, where we did all these power journeys to Mexico and Santa Fe and all over the place. So for 10 years, I was very involved with the practice of shamanism. And using that, the things that we learned, the other ordinary, extraordinary experiences, and going to the other worlds and shifting perception, to use that into my art, to bring it back, to create a sense of healing in my work. So my work really is about, I'm trying to create harmony and healing and bring that energy back to the community and share it.
And you're doing that through painting?
Through painting.
But
I also did teach it as well. I was.
So you're really well known, as much or more for your art as you are for, you're a teacher. Or do you see teaching as healing? I mean, and we're not talking in an academic setting. You do seminars. Do you do one-on-one?
Yeah,
tell us about following that path.
Okay. Well, teaching is really important to me, and you're right. I really feel that the shamanic practice is in my teaching practice. I'm not interested in the academic side, though I do have a strong knowledge of art history, and I do teach art history at Otis, but I bring in the spiritual aspect, the healing aspect into my teaching, into my work.
And spirituality these days is like verboten in the academy.
Oh, I know.
It is like,
so I really don't fit in, but that's fine with me. You know, I really have a sense of what I do and who I am, and I'm very happy with that.
You know what you do, what you like.
Yeah.
And you've had some success though with this sort of thing. I mean, how do you, is your practice? I mean, what does it benefit one to be? I want to say a teacher outside. I mean, and not in the academic sense, but to actually impart as an artist. You're imparting to other people this experience of yours.
Well, I see it as it's healing for people. It takes them to a deeper knowledge of themselves, of who they are. For artists that are that are professional artists, it takes them to a deeper level of an authentic voice or vision that they have, that makes their work really more authentic. I think it's very sad when you start thinking about making art for the marketplace, and
that's the worst thing you can do, and yet that's the thing I advise people to do all the time. Help me out here. Do you have to kind of cure people of this desire to be part of the marketplace?
No, I think it's fine to. I mean, I believe in marketing. I believe in showing work. I believe in selling work. I think it's important to do all that. But I think that you have to be grounded really in a voice that's true to yourself. And I think that's probably what I learned from being with Lorser and Helen, because they were very much like that. And the kind of the eternal values of art, rather than what's trendy in the moment, but sort of a more everlasting kind of vision of what art is.
Okay, have you ever done a seminar or been involved with somebody who was making art and you're just like, wow, this is really bad art, how do you make it better?
Okay, well, of course, I work with them on, composition, color,
the real nuts and bolts.
Yeah, I teach the real nuts and bolts. I teach a class at Otis called Painterly Painting from Impressionism to Expressionism. So it's very, we learn all the different techniques of Cezanne and the modernists, and then I also teach an art history course at Otis called Art Making Through History, which a hands-on approach where we start with cave paintings, we go through the Renaissance, go up through to pop art. So it's in 10 weeks, the whole history of art.
From cave paintings to pop art?
In 10 weeks.
In 10 weeks.
Are you kind of glossing over a couple centuries?
Yeah, we kind of we like mix Renaissance with Andy Warhol, kind of, together.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's okay.
Portraiture of the elite.
Yeah, that's right. Like the iconic, like the Greek archetype of, say, Venus would be kind of like, one of Andy Warhol's images of Elizabeth Taylor. It's the same kind of image.
Ah, the goddesses of each era. So what are we looking at here?
Oh, okay, so this is another painting of Big Sur. I call this, this one's from Partington Cove, and it's one of my favorite pieces, actually, where to me, it's very dreamy, very healing. It has the energy, the rhythm, the movement of nature, which is a source of...
And is this oil?
It's acrylic.
Acrylic on canvas?
Yeah.
And how large is this?
This piece, I think, is about 30 by 40.
Oh, wow. Okay, so decent size.
Yeah, decent size.
And so now you still, it's inevitable as an artist that you're going to be mixing it up with commerce, right?
Right.
Is that, some people really have like an abhorrence of commerce, and I think sometimes it's this like political game they play with themselves, and it's not, I don't think it's legit. I think they try to downplay commerce, because commerce is, there's winners and losers, and they don't want to enter into that competition. Well, do you see, is there any sort of competition in what you're doing? I mean, are you trying to compete with yourself or anything like that?
Well, I'm always trying to compete with myself and make my work better. I would definitely say that. And I feel, I just had a show at a really nice gallery, MRG Gallery in the Valley, and I really enjoyed that experience. And I've been showing pretty much throughout my whole career, and I think it's good to show work. For some people, not everybody wants to be showing their work, but for me, I think marketing is fine. I have no problem with selling my work or showing my work.
But how do you tell an artist, hey, it's not really time to be showing this stuff? Like, you got to work on it.
Well, that's pretty easy.
Do you have to give them the hard talk?
No, I just say, you know what? It's not really time for you to be showing your work
yet.
Wow.
Okay.
And,
okay. Take your medicine. Take your medicine.
But I always do it in a very gentle way, and I think I haven't ever really, I felt, hurt someone's feelings enough where they just gave up art because of what I've said to them.
Really?
I'm always encouraging.
I think it's time for you to try harder.
No. I don't want to do that.
No?
Listen, I think that actually everyone has a unique vision. There's a quote, Martha Graham to Agnes DeMille, where she said, everyone has a unique voice, and that if you don't say it, that's lost forever. So I think every person does have a unique creative voice, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be professional artists, but it does mean that they have a personal expression that they can get out into the world.
Well, then that leads me to really maybe the most spiritual kind of question that am capable of asking you. How does an artist defeat their ego? Because I think the artist ego is the one thing that ruins. Sorry guys, it ruins you. Your ego is your enemy, I believe. Friend and enemy, but enemy. So how does an artist defeat the ego and yet still have that self-respect to make the best art they can?
Yeah, I think that it's okay to have an ego when you're not in the studio. I think when you're in the studio, it's a time to go to another place with yourself.
That is so wise. You know what? That was awesome. That was like the best answer. Wow. So what is an example of an artist having an ego in the studio that defeats them?
Well, I think, I have a lot of compassion for artists, so I feel that it's very painful when an artist looks at their work and going, this is work I don't think I'm going to get into a show, or I don't think it's good enough, and it blocks their creative process. I think that you just go with it, allow yourself to have that experience of going with whatever your creative vision, your channeling energy is, and allow it to just be. And then, at a later time, you can kind of make the discernment and decide whether it's something that should be out there or not out there. I just feel that it's really important to do that,
And so real quick, since myself and Lisa and you were such good friends with Marilyn, tell us a little about Marilyn Nix's legacy.
Okay, that's, I think Lisa and I kind of feel the same about that. Marilyn Nix and I we met each other in our early 20s, and we started writing together for Art Week. And I kind of, in a way, she used to say this to me, I brought her into the art world. I was part of it then, and she was just getting her toe in there, and so she's been a longtime friend, and she was one of the most supportive friends I've ever had in terms of art, and so knowledgeable and understanding, and she's just a great person. So.
Yeah, she used to school me routinely. It was like, oh boy, you got one comma with art history wrong. Marilyn had no problem throwing a Facebook post about what a putz you were. Let me tell you. So.
Well, Marilyn and I probably couldn't be the most opposite, but we shared the same birthday. So we used to, August 19th, and we always celebrated our birthday together. So you can imagine this birthday was a really hard one for me.
Oh dear.
So.
Well, she is sorely missed, but there's obviously, people have legacies of people have various legacies, and hers really, it went to the bone to like so deep in the LA art scene.
Yes, very important.
There's a deep history in this scene here.
Yeah.
So hey, so you and I, Marilyn and I, or not Marilyn, pardon me.
She's going to be there,
Marilyn,
though.
yeah, she'll be there in spirit.
She's going to be there for sure.
Linda and I are going to be doing a really fun little seminar coming up in 2017 in January.
This is very exciting because Matt and I have discussed this for a while, of doing a workshop together. So we're going to be doing an art and astrology workshop in January, combining his incredible wisdom and knowledge on astrology and my kind of creative hands-on approach. So it's going to be really exciting and fun.
I'm looking forward to it. I've done a workshop called Art World Boot Camp, which is really focused on the nuts and bolts of artists making it in the art world. So this is going to be an exciting, for me, taking art into a different sphere. And I think, so much of the art world now is so against anything other than this literal, fact-based, what's in front of us, and this whole political thing where things are absolute and concrete, and you can't have two opinions, you have to have this one opinion. This whole world, it's time to really, in my opinion, to just break out into a consciousness beyond where everybody is just laid out in concrete. So I'm really excited to be working with you, the shaman of the Los Angeles art scene, and bringing some knowledge of astrology. And Lisa and I do a show on Wednesdays,
Astrology Blitz.
Astrology Blitz, where we talk about the dark art in a good light. And so it's going to be fun to kind of get artists involved in finding out, exploring different ways about themselves. And I think I'm just ready for this. I'm sick of this concrete world we live in. This election really just destroyed it for me.
So will we be making art in this class? Do you like how I just suddenly decided?
There's this we. Yeah, you put up the dough and it'll be we.
Well, yes,
it'll actually be. Tell us.
Oh yeah, so we actually spent a couple hours talking about what it's going to be, and it's going to.
We had a good meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to have some kind of shamanic ritual, and it's going to have mass incredible information about astrology. Each person will get their chart done, and he's going to talk about the 4 elements. And actually, I've done classes like this, the 4 elements, in Big Sur and Greece. That's another thing. I take people on retreats all over the world doing art.
Well, this one will be in exotic Chinatown, downtown LA. But there will be some art making.
Yeah, there's going to be art making. There's going to be, you'll learn about astrology and how you can incorporate that depth and wisdom into your creative process.
It's definitely a way, regardless of your belief in goofy things.
Wait a minute, hey!
It is a way to get out of this concrete, absurd, rigid mindset that has been poured and is hardening and ruining people's imaginations. And so we're going to destroy, we're going to break up this whole way, rigid way of just thinking one way. And there's a whole universe out there that I think that Linda and myself will be exploring along with you, if you care to take it. So tell us, what last artwork, what are we looking at here?
Okay, so this is one of my newer pieces. I call it the Fractal series, where it's using the tree, which is a real shamanic image, the tree of life, the shamanic tree. It shows the 3 worlds, the underworld, the middle world, and the branches or the upper world. And then I'm also breaking up the space to show that in this world there's so many different dimensions, so many different perceptions, and that the world is a shifting place. It's not just one thing. And I just wanted to say that we can change the perception of the world by changing our own perception. So we don't have to accept what's given to us. We can change it. I really believe that.
Okay, Linda Jacobson, thank you so much for being on Modern Art Blitz. We have to check out the Sketcher's Seat. Our lovely intern Aliza. Wow. Let's get
awesome.
Wow.
That's great.
All right. From the Sketcher's Seat, Linda Jacobson, thank you so much for guesting on our show. Lisa Derrick, my lovely co-host, and we've got the applause over there has been off the chart. Thanks, of course, to our lovely intern Aliza. And thanks for watching. We do this every Sunday live at 5 p.m. on dronebox.com. We are archived on Modern Art Blitz and YouTube. It's a website. modernartblitz.com and youtube.com. That's a website also.
And you can also find us on Facebook at some point or another.
Where's our theme song? Okay.
Welcome to the land of illusion. Welcome to your final resting place. I see your mind's full of delusion. When you look in the mirror, do you see your own face? Welcome to California. Dreams, a place for scars, a place for streams. Welcome to Hollywood. Did you come here for a reason, or just because you